told myself that I would definitely want to be part of this. And so I was ready to do whatever it took to be part. Was just chicken change, because the experience in there is worth millions and millions and billions of cities. I am not exaggerated on to raise and nurture responsible children who will grow up to transform generations. It's so not to become who God requires him or her to be. I got to know about the inner tribe, and I think it is a blessing that God gave to me, because I was facing challenges in parenting, and I'm one person who always looks out for the best for my children. I believe
responsibility, emotional wellness, and career readiness. Every Sunday, experts guide them in small groups online. Monday through Friday, you, the parent, become your child's coach for 30-minute activities we provide. No stress, no guesswork, just connection and growth. Your child gets books, materials, recognition together. While other children waste hours on screens, your child is being shaped into someone extraordinary. We started with 50 children. By popular demand, we've expanded to 100. 50 more spots just opened, but only those who enroll by November 30th get your parenting stress reduced. Your child becomes more responsible and independent. You get valuable progress reports, 12 life-changing monthly books, an exclusive Alpha Kids t-shirt, weekly Zoom workshops, community projects, leadership challenges, exciting monthly events, and a prestigious year-end awards ceremony. all for just 2,000 cedis, down from 3,000. Secure your child's slots now with just 100 cedis. Pay the rest by November 30th. This is your moment. Call or send a message to 053451 5541. 053451 5541. Limited to 50 kids, age 5 to 16. First come, first run. Acts now. Alpha Kids Mentorship, where your child becomes unstoppable.
Who decided to enroll in this program? I heard about it during the maiden parents conference of the PIC Academy. At the end of the conference, be part of this, and so I was ready to do whatever it took to be part of it. And in fact, what was required to be part of it was just chicken change, because the experience in I'm not exaggerating. The inner tribe has been a blessing to me and to my family. It is a place where parents are urged on to raise and nurture responsible children who will grow up to transform generations. The inner tribe has coaches who are seasoned, well-seasoned coaches who have the patience, though they are so knowledgeable, they have the patience to groom every parent to become who God requires him or her to be. I got to know about the inner tribe, and I think it is a blessing that God gave to me, because I was facing challenges in parenting, and I'm one person who always looks out for the best for my children. I believe that the society becomes a better place when we have well-raised children to take up responsibility as adults. And so I have always wanted a safe place to receive safe and sound direction on how to raise children. And I tell you, the inner tribe is the place for that. There are daily connection activities. There are weekly seminars. There are activities to do. We read books that pertains to so many aspects of parenting and a whole lot. It is a place that you cannot be and then be a passive parent. My life has changed simply because I became a triber, and I will not trade that for anything. Any opportunity I have to enroll again as a triber, I will be the first to be there, because the experience there is life-changing. I urge every parent here to enroll as an inner tribe member, to receive sound direction, to be helped, to be supported. We have coaches who go all out. They are readily available to help us tackle any problem we face as parents. We are not only trained in the area of child upbringing, but even as parents, we are also trained to imbibe discipline, to focus on our parenting journey, financial prudence, every other aspect that is required to be the parent that you are expected to be. It is taught in the inner tribe. We are not done yet, but the way things are going in there, it even shapes you as a wife, as a career woman, as a manager, wherever you are. As you enroll in the inner tribe, you realize that you receive wisdom, you receive tutelage to enable you perform better in any area of your life. In less than 1 year of enrolling in the inner tribe, the transformation I see in my children and even in myself is tremendous. It is incredible. I realize that my children now follow the routines that we have set together as a family. My parenting journey has become much easier. And then I have now come to agree that, in fact, a lot of the things we go through as parents is simply because we ourselves are not ready. We are not trained for the parenting journey, and we only vent our anger on the children. And so, kind courtesy, the inner tribe, my home is now a no caning, no spanking, no yelling zone. And meanwhile, everything works as planned. We did not get there in a day. We had daily connection activities that, in my estimation, I do not know where we're heading towards with those connection activities. But as they all came together, I now came to understand the saying of our coaches always, that once you are well connected to your child, whatever you say, whatever you ask them to do, they do it with ease. It is very true. The experience in the inner tribe cannot be talked about in a few minutes. You need to experience it to understand what we are talking about. It is a place to be. I would urge every parent, no matter the sacrifice it will take to be part of this inner tribe, if only you want to raise generational giants, if you want to raise well-rounded children, children who are equipped in every aspect of their lives, children who can take up responsibility, children who change the status quo, then I urge you to enroll as an inner triber, and I bet you your life will never be the same.
Yes, we are live. We are live. We are live. It's another beautiful, beautiful day. And I welcome all of you to the Parents Conference 2025. It is day 3 of the Parents Conference. And how has day 1 been? How has day 2 been? And today is day 3. You can leave your comments in the comment section so that we can look at it and also share with other parents. Don't forget to share the link. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can always see every time we upload any video or anytime we go live, you will be notified to see. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and share the link to other parents so that they can also join. How has it been so far? Day 1, day 2. How has it been for you? Let us see your comments in the comment section, how the previous days has been for you. Okay, let us see your comments, your comments, your comments. So we'll be going live soon. We will be starting today's session soon. I hope you are ready. Get your pen, your paper, and remember, anything that we learn, anything that our speaker says, try and write them down and implement. Implementation is very, very key. I say it all the time. It's better if you are learning and you are not implementing. You are just like the parent who doesn't know anything. You are just like the parent who isn't learning, because you are learning but you're not implementing, and they also don't know, so they are not doing anything. The most important thing is implementation. I hope you are able to implement the things that you are learning here so that you will really see the changes in your parenting. I welcome you once again. It's the Parents Conference 2025. Without wasting much time, let's go and listen to the bio of our first speaker for today.
chartered accountant, chartered tax practitioner, and leadership mentor. He holds an MBA from Coventry University in the United Kingdom. Currently, Mr. Amwakumbafo also ministers as an elder at the Church of Pentecost in nurturing families and guiding couples towards purposeful and godly relationships. Together with his wife, he has co-founded family systems through coaching, mentoring, and seminars. Purpose, and partnership rather than competition. Driven by his values of integrity and for national transformation. His work continues to inspire parents and couples to raise children in homes grounded in love, agreement, and intentional parenting. Pick Bafo to the stage. Mr. Frank Amwakumbafo is a chartered accountant, chartered tax practitioner for empowering families and young professionals. He holds an MBA from Coventry University in the United Kingdom. Currently living and working as an accountant in the United Kingdom, Mr. Amwakumbafo also ministers as an Pentecost dean. All his life, he has played a key role in nurturing families and guiding couples towards purposeful and godly relationships. Together with his wife, he has co-founded Fremling Consult, an initiative dedicated to strengthening marriages and family systems through mutual understanding and partnership rather than competition. Driven by his values of integrity, faith, and excellence, Mr. Amwakumbafo believes that strong families form the foundation for national transformation. His work continues to inspire parents and couples to raise children in homes grounded in love, agreement, and intentional parenting. Pick parents, ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, let's welcome Mr. Frank Amwakumbafo to the stage.
We are so sorry. We have a few technical challenges, but we are working on it and we believe it's been sorted. Hello, Mr. Mwakun. Hello, Mr. Frank Mwakun Bafo. Can you hear me? Please give us a moment. We will be right back. Sorry about that. We have a few technical challenges which we are trying to resolve now. Kindly give us a moment and we will look at that. We are still on it, making sure that comes on to speak. Kindly give us a few minutes and we will look at that. Okay, we have a speaker here.
Can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Yes, it's better now. We can hear you.
Oh, all right. Good morning to you all. And thank you for having me. Very sorry for the technical challenges. Thank you very much to the team for the work done so far. And I believe that parenting is a very important thing, which the PIC conference seeks to bring on board. So I'm happy to be here, and I believe that we will be transformed throughout this period that we are having this engagement. So our topic for this morning is purpose parenting, raising children from a place of agreement and not competition. It is very important for us to understand that partnership is very important, and that purpose is that which defines the things we do. And therefore, once we have this purpose in mind, it shapes the things that we do and the things that we don't do. It shapes the things that we value and the things that we don't value. So it is important for parents, both husband and wife, to come to that place of agreement, so that we can bring the best out of the children. Can you please move to the next slide for me? Yeah, so in Amos chapter 3, verse 3, the Bible, which is for us Christians, that is our manual, that is what we believe in. And it says that do two work together unless they have agreed to do so. So that level of agreement is very, very, very important. Can two work together unless they have agreed to do so? So you must enter into that agreement to do what God has ordained you to do. And parenting is not an easy task. Parenting, most of us marry and parenting is trust on us. We just have to kind of inherit something that we really are not ready for. Most people have become parents which they have not been prepared enough to do what they are supposed to do. So parenting by God's idea is not designed to be done by one gender, that is the male or the female. In God's plan, in God's mindset, parenting is supposed to be done by both the man and the woman. And that is why before the children of Adam came up, that is why before Cain and Abel and Seth and the rest came in, they were in the family setting. They were in the family setting. I have had the opportunity of leading an institution, which is a school, and where you realize that most of the children that have issues, that have either behavioral issues or that had academic issues, that had issues with the way they are being brought up, you realize that about 99% of these children come from single parenting, come from broken homes, and therefore it comes to underscore the importance of two people, that is the man and the woman, coming together to raise the child that God has given them, But mostly this kind of agreement, it doesn't see the light of day. Why? Because the relationship between the husband and the wife is not good. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. So the relationship between the wife or the husband and the wife, or the man and the woman, determines the level of agreement that would exist, determine the level of agreement that will come to play between the two of them. And mostly this health between a man and a woman is determined by the kind of thoughts or the attitude. These thought and attitude triggers an emotion in the home that doesn't create the environment for that kind of cooperation to come to bear. And therefore you realize that children will be raised from a conflict-oriented home. And therefore, I don't know if you can put in the chat for me, a few of the thoughts at times that you think towards your partner. And I believe that these thoughts or the ideas are the thing that triggers the kind of emotion in the home, and that doesn't lead to the kind of cooperation and the kind of agreement that we expect to exist in the home. So if you are with me on the chat, can you just put across some of the thoughts that comes across between you and your wife or you and your husband? Let me see if you are with me on the platform. Yes. Do you have anybody to put up across something? So as we wait for the chat, what I want to encourage is that I want to encourage a healthy relationship between a husband and a wife. That is what I want to encourage. We want to ensure that there is no competition in the home. And this thing called competition, when you realize in Genesis chapter 3 verse 16c, when sin came on the picture, you would realize that it brought distortion in the home. It brought distortion in the home. It brought a home that was in competition. So you realize the Bible says that your desire will be for your husband and he will rule over you. You see, husbands are not supposed to rule over their wives. Husbands are supposed to lead their wives. And wives are supposed to cooperate with their husband so that they can lead the home and bring the children that have been brought to them up to speed to become the kind of people that God has ordained them to be. But this thing normally is not realized because of that kind of struggle, power struggle in the home. And it is my prayer that we will leave this conference, dealing with every struggle in the home so that we would come to a place of agreement, so that we'll come to a place of cooperation, so that we'll come to a place of togetherness. That is what God has called us to be. You realize that even Jesus, who became the savior of the world, was placed between a man and a woman, so that he can become what God has ordained him to be. So this kind of competition that we are going to talk about normally happens in a distorted home. So this morning, I want you to check the health of the relationship between you and your husband, the person who together you have brought up the children that you have. Look at the temperature of the relationship in the home and look at the kind of collaboration that exists between. What is triggering this disagreement? What is triggering this conflict in the home? And when these things are triggered, of course, you realize that you will never be able to raise children from a place of agreement. You would only raise children from a place of competition. And that is what we want parents to avoid. Avoid raising children from a place of competition. Can you please go to the next slide for me? Yes, so Men and women have their unique traits and unique characters to help shape the children as well as women. So men have what they bring on board, women have what they bring on board. Nobody is superior than the other. Everybody has something to bring on board. And therefore, you realize that God took a woman from the side of a woman, looking at the level of coexistence, looking at the level of togetherness that must exist in raising the children that have come in the home so that they can complement each other. So let us focus on complementing each other rather than playing on our strength against each other. That is, so you have your unique trait. It is believed that women are the hearts of the home. And you can, of course, understand that a person without a heart is dead. It's the heart that pumps the blood into every part of the body. And so a person without a heart is dead. So women are described as the heart of the home, whilst men are described as the backbone of the home. So you realize that a body without a backbone cannot stand. Anybody who has a spinal cord issue, of course, every part of the body is destroyed. So you realize that both the backbone and the heart are very crucial. So this morning, all I came to say is that let us complement each other and avoid competition. Children are given to us like plants. They are given to us like plants. And therefore, we are supposed to nurture them to fulfill their destinies for the benefit of society at large. Children are not just a bona fide property of husband and wife. No, they are meant for society. They are meant to be a blessing to humanity. And therefore, it is important for us to raise them to be as such. See them as God's instrument given to you. So in brief, purpose partners is when a husband and a wife, despite their differences. Yes, I admit that there are differences. I admit that, where a husband was raised is different from where the wife was raised. I admit that where the school the husband went is different from the school that the wife went. I admit that there are temperamental differences. When you meet somebody who is a sanguine and you meet somebody who is a phlegmatic, there are differences. When you meet somebody who is a choleric and you meet somebody who is melancholy, you realize that there are differences. But despite these differences must be harmonized like the orchestra so that it can play a beautiful music in the home. So let us nurture them. So despite our differences, we align around a common goal. So we intend to align around a common goal in raising children God gives, each playing their distinct role to complement each other. So we all have a distinct role to play. And what I want to run home is that in Genesis chapter 11, when you take your time, just take your time because of time. We couldn't start because of the technical issue. But when you take your time and read Genesis chapter 11, you realize that the concept of unity in purpose, it is expressed in language. And for anything to thrive, especially even children, for them to thrive, there must be unity. So the concept of agreement in Genesis chapter 11, verse 1, Bible says that, they had a common language and they decided a common agenda. They decided to settle at a place against God's plan for them to spread. And even God had to come down to engage human beings who have decided to go against his will by settling at one place. Why? Because they had a common language. And that common language led them to build a tower that was very high, even to the skies, closer to God. And God said, no, if we don't come down to disrupt their language, nothing they decide to do will be impossible. So God was even afraid of unity of men. And so the home must have a united, and that is very important. Please, the next slide. All right. So we have common areas of parental competition. And these are things that normally happens in the home. At times, it happens consciously or unconsciously. At times, it happens because of individual strength. At times, these things happen because of a need. Probably there's a need in the man, there is a need in the woman that is not being fulfilled. And these things plays out in these areas of competition. And I want you to watch out these areas that seeks to compete in the home. So one area is the favorite parent competition. And that competition comes when parents are competing for the child's affection and loyalty. And how do we do that? At times, like I mentioned, it happens consciously or unconsciously. When one sets the rule, one wants to overturn the rule. And, children want the easy way out. Children want to have their own way. Children want to have a free day. Children don't want to be guided. Children want to have, and it is inherent in every human being. Every human being wants to have their own way. That is why society has instituted structures. And so in the home, there should be structure. But unfortunately, at times, one parent will want to be the favorite of the children. And by the time they give their children their leeway, they want, when one says that let's sleep at, let's say 9, another says that no, you want the children to have some freedom, so let them sleep at 10. And therefore you realize that the one who is saying that we should sleep at 10, the children will tend to like him. When we say that we are not eating sweets because we know that it is not healthy, one would want to buy the sweet for them because the children like it. So the favorite parent will do the things that the children like. And because they do what the children like, the children will tend to favor them. And the children will tend to skew towards them. One will not discipline, one will discipline. And these two, favorite parent competition and the competition for control, they run alike. The first one more has to do with the laissez-faire person, the laissez-faire parent who would want everything to run, everything to rule, and that parent to become the favorite of the children. However, there's another side of the story where another parent competition for control, where the other parent, this happens when parenting decision becomes power struggle instead of partnership. So and this thing normally happens when you have two cholerics coming to play, two cholerics staying at the same place. They want to exert their influence. At times you may have a man who lived in a home where the man saw the mother overly in control of the home, and therefore he vowed in his heart that when he marries, he will never allow the wife to have a say in the home. And these things begins to bring power struggle. And when one feels sidelined in the parenting, they also want to exert the authority. So the competition for control happens when parenting decision becomes a power struggle. I want this to happen. The other wants this to happen. And also, this competition for control is linked to the third one, which is the financial competition, especially when both parents have financial muscles. When the woman can buy, the man can buy. When the woman can pay, the man can pay. You realize that at times when this thing is not managed, it leads to power struggle because the woman feels that. And like I mentioned in Genesis chapter 3, verse 16, you realize that we all want to exert our influence. The children have been given to both man and the woman. The children they are the product of both of you. But then we want to have our struggle. And so financial competition, when finance is supposed to be a blessing to the home, it becomes a weapon in parenting. Because yes, especially when one is a breadwinner and the other is a stay-home parent. Especially when a man loses his job and the man is not able to finance the activities of the home. Now you realize that the woman who is financing the activity wants to exert influence and want to take control of every decision in the home. So financial competition, though finance is supposed to be a blessing to the family, it tends to become a weapon for competition. And this thing must be avoided. The next one I want to talk about is the role competition. And this occurs when parents compares roles and responsibilities and contribution to determine whose role is more important. Yes, I am more important than you. And this is an ego struggle. When people want their ego, when you want to massage their ego, there are people who want their praise to be sunk. And so because there's ego struggle, there's always role competition. Mine is more important than maybe one is supposed to help the child do the homework. One is supposed to go and take the child from school. Maybe one is supposed to prepare the child for school. One is supposed to, while one is bathing the child, one also takes over the breakfast of the children. These are things that we should be able to do jointly and collectively. And one is also paying the bill, one is also doing another thing. So you realize that with these roles, people begin to struggle over mine is more important than yours, especially when there is a stay-home woman who probably is not really working and the man is working, the man feels that because they go and come and bring the money to the home, they feel that the woman in the home is not doing anything. And at times they come and then the woman is tired. They don't understand why the woman is tired. Raising children is a full-time job. It's a full. When the children are 2, 3, 4, and even 1, it's very, very difficult. So the need for cooperation is cannot be overemphasized. It's so important. It's so important. So let us avoid these areas of competition in the home. Can you please move to the next slide for me? Yes, there is a slide I wanted to talk about, and that is about what I want to chip in is about the impact of this struggle on the children. At times you realize that children, because there's a struggle, power struggle, the children learn inconsistency because one person says A, the other person says B. So they don't even know how to follow rules in society. They do, because there's always a power struggle. Children who lives in such home, at times they tend to become very political because they will know what to do to please party A or father, and they know what to do to please the mother. They tend to be very manipulative. Such children will grow up being manipulative because they know what to do to get what they want from each parent. And they tend to put parent heads together. They tend to split. Mommy says I should do, daddy says I should do this, because they know that you are not united. They are not united. And they tend to heckle your head together. So let us avoid competition in the home. Briefly, I want to share this framework for us so that it's going to help us work on in agreement in raising the children that God has given us. Children that must become giants on the land. Children that must begin to solve tomorrow's problem. Society has so much problem already, and it's the children we are bringing on board that would help solve society's problem. Of course, the cornerstone, the building blocks of society is the family, and the family, the product of the family are the children. So if we don't make sure that we are raising them to be heroes for tomorrow, tomorrow's problem will continue to linger on. So what's the framework? The first framework: speak the same language in the home. Okay, I don't mean it doesn't mean that both parents must have identical parenting styles. No, but speaking the same language means that communicating unity, communicating consistency, communicate with clarity. Use the same tone, use the same messaging, even when your parenting styles differ. So use the same language. And that is what I refer to in Genesis chapter 11, that they spoke a common language. They spoke a common language. When mommy says no, daddy says no. When mommy says yes, daddy says yes. Because we have underlined the reason for our no. We all understand why we are saying no. We all understand why we are saying yes. So speak the same language. Resolve differences behind the scenes and come before the children echoing the same thing. When we are not supposed to play after 5, yes, that is the agreement. We are not supposed to play after 5. And there's a reason why we are not supposed to play after 5. When you are supposed to be sleeping at 9 p.m., there's a reason why we are supposed to be doing that. And all of you have come to the same agreement. All of you have come to the same point, the same conclusion, because there is a reason for underlining your decision. So speak the same language, common grounds and shared values. What kind of adults are you trying to raise? You can write it down. What character traits do you want to bring up from your children? What values? And I think that is what the parent council is all about. This conference is all about. That is why the academy is trying to raise character traits that will solve tomorrow's problem. Parenting is not an easy task. Parenting, nobody has an experience in parenting, but I believe that with a common front, it can be done. So common ground, share values, very, very important. Write them down. What kind of children do you want to raise? What kind of children do you want to see in the future? Do you want to see a wife beater? Do you want to see a husband snatcher? What kind of thing do you want to see in your children? And of course, let prayer be a key component of raising kids. Okay. It is God who works in the heart of men, both to will and to act. So very important. Please move to the previous slide for me. Let me highlight one or two things and I conclude. So, beloved, let us ensure that that cooperation is there, speaking the same language, having a common ground, share values, prayer. All these things are very important as a framework which you are supposed to work with. And I believe that when these things are done, it will help raise children from a place of agreement instead of a place of competition. And children will become who God has ordained them to be. Thank you very much. I want to pause here. If there are questions or there are any contributions, I would welcome them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Frank Amwakobafo. This session has been short, but very, very, very insightful. I believe parents here have learned a lot. Okay, so we have some comments here. It says that thank you for sharing this wisdom. Yes, thank you so much. If you're not speaking the same language with your partner, please go agree on something so that you don't confuse the children. Very, very, very important. Are there any questions? Please, if there are any questions, kindly drop them so that our speaker can attend to the questions for us. Is there anything that we didn't really understand? Okay, so any further insight for single parents? Okay. Mr. Frank Amwako, someone is
Thank
asking
you.
any further insight
Single,
for single parents.
single parenting is a difficult thing. I want to comment on that. But I believe that with some of these insights shared, when you enforce them, when you set boundaries yourself, like you enforce the rules, you have common ground. Today you won't say A, tomorrow when they come you say B. So write the values you want to see in your children down, pray for them, engage them, set boundaries. Very well. So you yourself, instead of the two of you doing this together, you yourself have this thing down and then try to enforce. And I believe that it will go a long way to help you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for answering, sir. So someone is also asking, how do you manage this when the parents don't stay together?
When you don't stay together, of course, but you communicate. So that agreement, I don't know what you mean by not staying together, whether it's a divorce or staying at your separate place, or because of work you are not staying together. But communication is very important. Talk about it. Have honest communication, and these things at times you can write them down. Come together, write them down. What are the values? What are the things we have agreed on? What are the things we don't agree on? So very, very important. So communicate, speak to the other party, and I believe when you communicate, you can agree on these things. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is saying raising boys, raising girls. Any brief comment? I don't really get that. Could you please send your question again?
But what I want to touch on, even raising boys, raising girls, I've come to realize that you have to become a friend to your child. Very important. But then you have to also set clear boundaries. You can be a friend, but you have to set clear or let the child know that you are a father, you are a mother, and you are not a playmate. So become friends. And when I say become friends, I mean have playtime with your children. And once you have playtime with them, I think that kind of bonding and connection will occur. But when in your case, they shouldn't see you as one of their friends in school or one of their classmates they have been playing with. Very, very important.
Okay, so the lady who asked whether if two parents are not staying together, she answered that they are divorced. So that is what she meant by not staying together.
Okay, so in the case of divorce, it depends on who the child is with, whether with the man or the woman. But of course, like I'm saying, you have to have that agreement. So for the interest of the children. Okay, all we are saying is that it's not for the interest of both parties alone, for the interest of the children. Have an agreement, speak to the person, tell the other party the importance of having shared values. So if we are not taking the children to maybe a place A, all of you should agree on it, that we are not taking them to place A because of A, B. Let us have that reasons, not just because we want to enforce our ego and those things. Thank you.
Okay, so I think the person who asked about the boys and girls, it says that, do you consciously raise boys different from girls?
Yes, you need to raise boys different from girls. Our culture hopes to think that girls are maybe cut out for certain kind of work, and therefore they want to raise them. But boys must be raised to value respect for women. They value work. They shouldn't see work as only for women to do. They should. So that kind of cooperation is very important. Yeah, because of our time, maybe we have to maybe have another session that would. Very sorry for the technical challenges. We could have, started more on time and then address a lot of concerns.
Okay, I think we are taking the final question. How do you go about the values, especially if your spouse is not a Christian or don't believe what you believe?
Yes, you see, marriage is not just two bodies staying together. Marriage is an alignment of identities. It's an alignment of personalities. So this is a very difficult one. But as a Christian, I would encourage you first to pray. Prayer is very, very important. I will encourage you to model good behavior. Don't say because the person is not a Christian. You have to model good behavior. And when you model good behavior and they see your good behavior at times, they can even join your faith. But keep talking, keep giving reasons, keep giving examples of things you have seen which didn't help one child or the other. And once you keep talking, keep engaging, keep praying, keep modeling good behavior, as whether the husband is a Christian or the wife is a Christian, model good behavior. And when you model good behavior, it will have an influence on the person. I believe that God is an answer, prayer answering God.
So this final question just came in. What do you do when the other parent is not cooperating? That would be our final question.
Yeah, there's a book, Desperate Relationship or something. Get that book. It can be online. And I believe that it has a lot of uncooperative behavior from a spouse and what you should do in that instance. But I will keep encouraging you to model good behavior. When the other person is not cooperating, keep modeling good behavior, keep encouraging the person, keep speaking up. One day they will join you.
All right. So thank you so much. I don't know if there are any last words you'd want to share with us so that we
All
can
right.
finally finish this
All right. So
session.
in conclusion, to be able to raise children from a place of agreement and not competition, you have to watch the common areas of competition. And I think I've labeled them: favoritism, financial role, and control. So these are areas that can bring competition. Work with the framework, speak the same language, have shared and common values. Let prayer be part of your parenting, and have shared boundaries. Shared boundaries, very, very important. And remember the popular saying, teamwork makes the dream work. So in conclusion, let us try to have that cooperation, and it will help us. We want to encourage all of us to join the inner tribe. Very, very important. It helps or seeks to bring out the best in us. So we want to encourage all of us to join the inner tribe, which is being organized by our dear sister and then the PIC. Make sure that you join the cohort that is oncoming, and it will bless your life, and you will learn a lot from that. I think they will share the link, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So share the link, and we encourage everybody to join that, and you'll be blessed as a parent, and you will bring out the best in your child. Remember that Bible says that children are like arrows in your quiver, and arrows are released for attack. Arrows are released to bless. So get the tips that would help you raise children to that level. I also want to, introduce you to the organization that myself and my wife runs. It's called Fremlin Consult. It's a relationship. We do coaching, we do premarital counseling, we do postmarital counseling as well. So if you reach out, we can help you navigate, the complexities of difficult relationships, and it will help your life better. So thank you for having me, and thank you for this session. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We don't take it for granted. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the day.
All right. See you. Bye.
Bye. Yes, so it's been a wonderful session. And I believe we have learned a lot. I believe we have taken notes, and also we are going to really implement. So the inner tribe, about the person who asked the question concerning whether boys are raised differently from girls. Yes, there's a way to raise a girl and there's a way to raise a boy. You don't raise them equally, and we have in the inner tribe, there are months that we set aside to talk about boys, to teach parents intentionally about how they can raise their boys. And there is a month too that we talk about how you can raise your girl child. So I mean, there are so many things. It's a lot of things that we do in there. And I would encourage every parent to make it part of their priorities to join the next cohort of the inner tribe program so that we can all together learn and raise responsible and wholesome children. Thank you so much. We are ending this first session here, and we are moving right into the next session. We will share the link in the group, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Bye.